in this video we'll be covering how to connect your Sonoff device to your local Wi-Fi network. In the previous video we covered how to flash the Sonoff firmware to your Sonoff Basic or your Sonoff Safe Voltage IoT switch. In this video we cover the connection of the Sonoff IoT switch to your Wi-Fi network, and we have a brief look through the menu structure. Now, one has to manually connect your switch to your Wi-Fi network, or you can simply use the IoTsys mobile app available on Android or iOS to get straight onto our platform. However, the firmware on the Sonoff devices now provide you with a web user interface for which you can connect to multiple platforms and not necessarily dependent on KLD Technologies products. So once you flash your firmware and you plug your Sonoff device in, it will present a SSID called IoT Switch Cloud. Connect to the SSID. The default password is the same as the SSID. Once it connects, it'll give you a notification that the internet may not be available. This is because your mobile device is connected directly to the Sonoff switch. Alright, once it's connected, we then open up a browser to a default IP address 192.168.4.1. This is standard beginning IP address for all newly flashed Sonoff devices. At this point we have a menu that appears: Connect Station, Soft AP Toggle, Control Admin, Reset, Update. These are settings, and the functions of those settings are explained next to each of the buttons. At this stage we merely want to connect the Sonoff switch to our local Wi-Fi network, so we click Station. In this menu it presents and scans a number of SSIDs available near your Sonoff device. At this point, select your SSID, enter your password, and click Submit. A pop-up will occur notifying you that there is successful connection to your Wi-Fi network. Now please note that due to firmware limitations, the ESP chipset range only support 2.4 GHz in Wi-Fi networks, so please don't try and connect this to your 5 gig network. The pop-up will notify you of your local IPv4 network address, and from this point you can then access the web interface of your Sonoff device on the IP address shown. If for some reason a pop-up did not occur, depending on your network speed, you may not have received the second pop-up notifying you of the IP address. At this point, simply reconnect to the IoT switch SSID and click under Information, your station information. If you have a look, you will see that you are now connected, and it will show you your MAC address, your unique MAC address of your Sonoff device, and the IP address on your local network. You can now proceed to your local network and open a browser to continue the rest of the configuration. Once we have connected the Sonoff switch to our Wi-Fi network, we are able to access it via the IP address of our local network. At this stage you're presented with the same menu that you saw when directly connected with your mobile device. What makes this firmware unique is that it enables you to connect to any MQ or MQTT service using standard industry connection protocols. So one could connect this manually to a local broker service, a cloud broker service, or any service that supports message queuing. Station we briefly covered. As you can see, the network information that we captured is committed to non-volatile memory, i.e. it will survive reboots. The station soft IP, one must understand that the Sonoff device with our firmware on it now acts as both a station and an access point. In other words, it simultaneously connects to your local network and itself is an access point which one can connect directly to. If you change the SSID and password here, this is what will be broadcast as an available SSID to connect to. Toggle function toggles between hiding your SSID and unhiding your SSID. One can imagine a household full of Sonoff switches or IoT sys switches, and you will have a number of SSIDs for which pose both an irritation that you have a long list of SSIDs and also security risk in terms of persons trying to access or hack your device. For each control executed by your Sonoff switch or IoT sys switch, these are the message payloads which then trigger the relevant action on the left. So a payload containing the word on would trigger an on. One can custom set these topics per function, and once entered lock and unlock address, although stored in the firmware of the device, will not be visible should one return to the screen. And the reason for that is, as we lock the interface or unlock the interface, we simply don't want this information shown. This information will be present on your Android or iOS app if you've used the app, and this information will be present on the free home server software we provide using our IoT sys web application interface to manage the device. Alright. Admin interface. If you leave the default username admin and the password admin, the security interface will not be enabled. If, however, you change the username or the password, it will lock this interface. Once the interface is locked, you will need to enter the username and password to unlock it. This interface provides a retry period of 5 to 10 minutes on 5 unsuccessful tries without notification, which will prevent unauthorized access directly to the device. The lock and unlock can both be done from the IoT sys web application on our home server, or it can be done by the mobile application for Android or iOS. Reset resets all the information on the switch and returns it to a factory default state. If this menu is not the full menu visible and you have previously downloaded our firmware, simply click the update button to update the firmware over the air, and you will receive all the latest changes and this menu and function on your Sonoff device. Relay is a simple manual relay control on or off or pulse, just to test your device. And once all the information is captured and your device is set up and connected to a cloud, you are able to read the information for each of the relevant areas. As you can see, we're on default control information. We're still on the default SSID for the Sonoff switch. The station information we went over previously. This state gives the state of the device, whether the relay is actually on or off. and product information is available for our support teams should you run into any issues. I think it's very important to note that although the web interface exists on the actual Sonoff switch or IoTsys switch, the IoTsys mobile application for Android and iOS automatically configure all of these settings, as does the IoTsys web application on our home server. There's no need to manually configure all these settings. However, for those of you who wish to connect to custom platforms other than which we provide, it would be relevant to know these details. Thank you. This concludes the video. Thank you for watching.